Hello, fire signs, and welcome into your reading for the first half of April. We have some really big, exciting things coming up in the first half of the month, so we are going to dive into that. Before we get started, let's pull one of these crystal oracle cards and see if there is a specific crystal that you are being compelled to work with in the first half of the month. And this will also give us a couple of little things to think about with the reading. All right, so healing generational patterns, leadership, action, and stamina. So this is something, and we'll see it and kind of talk about it as it relates specifically to each individual sign, because I'll do overall the fire signs, and then I'm going to go through and pull cards specifically for Aries, specifically for Leo, specifically for Sagittarius. And we're going to be looking at what, to some extent, what are some of these generational patterns that need to be healed? And for each of you, that might manifest differently. So sometimes it is expectations around job or career choices. Sometimes it's expectations around relationships, either with specific people or types of people. Expectations about how long do you stay in a relationship? Is it acceptable for you to move on from a relationship? Some of these patterns may be about having children, or how do you deal with your children? How do you discipline them? How do you raise them? So there's lots of different generational patterns this could be talking about. But then it's a matter of taking that leadership role, taking that action role to say, you know what, just because our family has done it this way for generations doesn't mean that it has to continue to do it that way. And some of it too could be if there's generational trauma that's embedded. Maybe there was huge amounts of shame that one of your ancestors brought upon your family, and there's always kind of been that sense of not good enough because, great grandpa so-and-so did this, and it's like you feel like you have this shadow that's lurking over you. So this is an interesting one. We'll take a look at it as we dive deeper into the reading. All right, so let's start with, we'll use this deck for the overall read, and then we'll use the dog deck as we pull specific cards for each individual sign. And we will be taking a look at jobs and career, love and relationships, and then life path and mission. So a few of the really big things that are happening. On April 1st, we have Mercury going into retrograde, so April Fools. And that is going to be in retrograde until April 25th. So luckily, that's a fast-moving planet. It doesn't stay in retrograde for all that long, but it usually does have a pretty big impact. Even people who are not astrologically inclined or tapped into spiritual healing, that sort of thing, they kind of know in pop culture, like, oh, Mercury retrograde. So it usually has to do with technology. It has to do with disruptions in communication, timing. It's just kind of that. It reminds me of the character of Loki, like god of mischief, like, all right, let's come in, shake things up, and boom, then we're gone. So be aware of that happening. Then on the 5th, we have Venus entering Aries. So that's going to be about taking the initiative in love, having that Aries energy to be bold and make your love feel fresh and new again. And then we have the Aries solar eclipse on the 8th. So we'll talk a lot about that as we go through, but let's go ahead and flip some cards here. So for job and career, let me put that up there so we have enough room. Job and career in the recent past, we have the Emperor energy currently sitting in King of Pentacles energy, with Queen of Pentacles as the next level of energy coming in. So in the job career standpoint, in the recent past, it's been this good, strong, masculine energy, kind of like driven. You're a good, effective leader. Currently sitting in this King of Pentacles energy, which is that reliable, stable type of energy. And then the next level coming in is the Queen of Pentacles. So it's this sense of like luxury and comfort. So frankly, fire signs, it looks like things look really good from a job and career standpoint. So no issues there, so to speak. So that'll be that was kind of quick in terms of looking at that part. And as I'm shuffling here to do the love and relationship line, then we'll talk a little bit more about this eclipse. So with this eclipse coming in, it's really this high energy and enthusiasm and kind of this excitement about new beginnings. And some of it is, there's this energy of like second chances. So that's opposed to like having a brand new partner. So not necessarily total upheaval of your relationships and like leaving one person going to another, but it's kind of like this sense of wanting to start fresh and what direction is it that you want to go. So there is that sort of, wanting to put some excitement back in your life. And, if you're in a position where you've been, I'll call it stuck in a rut and just kind of feeling like uninspired, there is going to be some energy of looking at your relationships and seeing, okay, why are you in it? Are you in it because you just feel like, well, that's what I've always done? Or are you in it because that's truly where you want to be and you realize it's just been pushed to the side and kind of put on the back burner? So there is going to be that period of reflection. Like anytime you have a solar eclipse like that, there is an energy of, kind of this out with the old, in with the new, like major transformation, your life taking big types of changes. So for love and relationships in the recent past, we have Temperance, currently sitting in this energy of the High Priestess in reverse. That's kind of too close there. And then the next level of energy coming in is the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Sorry, reverse, that was throwing me off there. So with relationships, it's kind of had that feeling of being balanced and, not particularly passionate. So you've been going for harmony. You've been going for, moderation. Like you've kind of been not very emotional one way or the other. So in some of my decks, if you watch the daily reads that I do and the daily card pulls, the one for Temperance is Ambassador Spock. And so that's a really good, representation kind of where you have been maybe relationship wise, like nothing to write home about, just even keel, not very emotional, just kind of sitting in that balanced state. Then with the current energy is the High Priestess in reverse. So there's a little bit of this sense of like uncertainty and that maybe there's been some secrets by one party or the other, and kind of this sense of like, what are we doing? Like, so that sort of energy, just in terms of the uncertainty, like, is this really where I want to be? Is this really where I want to go? The next level of energy coming in with our Six of Pentacles in reverse is kind of this sense of like this lack of charity. And it's almost like this tit for tat energy. And it's kind of like, well, I don't want to put in more effort or energy unless I know I'm getting something in return. So sometimes this is seen as like a bad, like this bad, uncomfortable energy. I kind of take it a little bit differently, almost more like, okay, before I go dumping all of this time and money and energy and myself into this situation, I want to know, is it actually going to be something that's fulfilling? So it's almost more like safeguarding your energy is kind of the message that's coming through there. All right, now let's take a look at life path and mission and see what comes through for our fire signs. And then we'll go in individual sign by individual sign. So in the recent past, we have our Eight of Wands energy, currently sitting in the Eight of Swords energy, and the likely outcome is the Ace of Pentacles energy in reverse. So in the recent past, it's kind of felt like, oh yeah, you were overcoming obstacles. You thought you knew what you were doing in terms of which direction your life was going, like what your life path was, but you're currently feeling stuck. So there is this sense of really feeling stuck in your current situation. And the next level of energy coming in, this Ace of Pentacles in reverse, is this feeling of I missed certain opportunities. Like, I really think that my calling was this, that my calling was that I should have taken this life path. And so again, there's this element of healing generational patterns. Did you let your life go down a different path because that's what you felt like was expected of you from a family standpoint? Is that what you feel like your family and everybody around you was expecting you to do? So that is overall the energy. I'm going to pull a couple cards individually for each zodiac sign and then also do the oracle cards. So for our Aries, we will start with you, because since this solar eclipse is in your sign, it is going to be, I guess, extra emotional for you. So for fire signs in general, this should be a relatively positive experience for you. But Aries, because you are also one of the cardinal signs, this is going to be extra emotional. And this is a total North Node eclipse conjoined with Chiron and Mercury. So this is a push for a new start, like a new beginning. So it's the idea of leaving the familiar place that you've outgrown. So if you've outgrown certain things, as we talk about generational patterns, if you've outgrown certain things and it no longer feels good to be there, that is what you're being asked to leave behind during this eclipse. So you go from light into the darkness and then back into the light. So it's kind of that sense of, okay, I'm making some big transformational change here. So let's jump in and see what all do we have for Aries. When it comes to, job and careers, everything was looking pretty stable there. So I think for all of our fire signs, let's take a look at the areas that are causing more concern. So Aries, love and relationships. We have the devil energy pushing on you. You have your Nine of Swords energy, and then you have your Seven of Wands in reverse. So your Nine of Swords energy is this sense of like anxiety and trauma. So you've had this devil energy pushing on you, Aries, and something is trying to keep you off track. It's like I said, it's this devil energy that's trying to keep you off track, trying to keep you from standing in your power and leaning into your happy place. So especially because this is it's on the line about relationships, there's somebody in your life that is trying to make you unhappy, or some energetic force. So remember, this can be addictions like drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, shopping, overeating, whatever. It can be things like that. It can also be a specific person. It can also be recurring thought patterns of I'm not good enough. This person's never going to love me. I deserve this unhappiness. Those sorts of self-defeating thoughts. And that's just left you in this energy of anxiety and trauma and stress. And you may not even, and some of it, you may not even necessarily recognize certain things as trauma. But for example, like when you're driving home at the end of a day, are you excited and happy about it? Or do you have that sense of, okay, let me try to get my energy up because I'm almost back to the house, type of thing. And so if you do, it's probably that you have this devil energy pushing on you at home. Then we also have our Seven of Wands in reverse, and that is the sense of weakness, burnout, and surrender. So for our Aries, your relationship line is really causing you a lot of distress right now, a lot of uncertainty, and then this likely outcome. This, it is that tit for tat type of energy that I was talking about, but in a positive way. So currently along this line, you've been in an imbalanced relationship. And so it's almost like once you can break free of that, the next level of energy is I'm not going to let myself be in a relationship or in a situation that feels imbalanced. If I'm putting energy into a relationship again, whether it's with the same person or a new person, if I'm going to put in the energy, I want to know that I'm getting something out of it, like energetically, like what is the energy exchange that's happening with that other person. So also, this kind of, this sense of, leaving behind, like during the eclipse, leaving behind those familiar places that you've outgrown. So for you specifically, Aries, all of this heavy energy where you currently are standing in your relationships, there is also this energetic push of leaving behind the familiar places that you've outgrown. So taking that leadership and action role to say, you know what, if I'm in a familiar place relationship wise, and I feel like I'm stuck there, I'm going to heal that pattern and say, no more of that. I need to be unapologetically me, because that's that North Node in Aries, is being unapologetically you, standing in your truth. So, all right, now let's take a look at life path and mission. We have our 10 of Wands in reverse. We have our King of Cups in reverse. And then we have the Lovers card. So, as we're looking at all these, our 10 of Wands in reverse is this sense of, again, like kind of some stress and burnout here. Like feeling trapped is leaving you also feeling burned out because you're trying to figure out what your next step is, but it's just causing a lot of strain and issues for you. Your King of Cups in reverse energy is this feeling of being worried and stressed and feelings of being manipulated. And then you have your Lovers card as well. And so the Lovers card is, there's that romantic connection element of lovers and being balanced. But this card also is symbolizing, put it up front there so you can see it. This could be Gemini. So on your life path, you could have a mission or path that involves Gemini, because that's the Lovers card, and having to do a lot with communication. So right now, this sense of, you kind of thought you knew where things were going in your life in the past, but now you feel trapped, and this next level of, did I miss a chance? Did I miss some opportunity? Here, it's a matter of breaking out of feeling trapped. So in this card in particular, the hard part is she feels like, she's blindfolded. She can't actually see the future and see what's ahead. All she knows is that there's all these swords around her. But down here, when you look, there's this one sword in front of her, but most of them are behind her. But without the ability to clearly see it, there's this sense of, oh my gosh, I can't do anything. I have to stay put. I have to stay exactly where I am. But water, a lot of time, is seen as blessings from the divine. The divine has poured out these waters at her feet. She just has to trust it and take baby steps and walk forward and be able to get out of that situation. But as long as that mentality is there of, oh, I'm blindfolded, I can't see, I have to stay put until I can see everything clearly, that's what's keeping her trapped in that card, like in the current energy. And I think it's this stress, this burnout, this feeling of weakness that is keeping Aries, that's keeping you stuck in terms of feeling like you don't know what direction your life is supposed to go. But remember, Aries, or North Node in Aries, is about being unapologetically you. It's about standing in your truth. So if your truth is in opposition to some of these generational patterns, that's okay to step out of those, patterns. Like, trust in the divine, take baby steps, and take that leadership role for future generations. So if you have children of your own, take this step for them. Model to them that good behavior of, I'm making sure that my needs are being met. I'm making sure that I am on the path that I feel is the right path for me. I'm not going to let somebody else tell me what my path is, because I know my path. So even if it feels selfish doing it for you, if you have children, do it for them. Model for them that it's okay for you to take your own path. Like I said, this could be something, your new path could involve a divine partner of yours, like this Lovers card, that maybe your new path has a different, if this is a relationship that's just burning you out and like you're just done with it, then, perhaps this new path has a different partner for you, a like more of a divine partner. Or this can also symbolize decision. So the Lover's card also is indicative of decisions, like you have a choice to make. So you have the choice to make. Do you stay in a life path situation that you feel like maybe is making you feel trapped, or do you make the decision to break out of that and pave your own way? All right. It's time to release negativity. So in here, whatever this devil energy is, it's time to release it. If it's a specific behavior of yours or addiction of yours, it's time to release that. If it's a recurring thought pattern in your head, this mantra you're telling yourself, it's time to release that. And trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? If you knew that your family would absolutely support you, what would you do? If you knew the divine would support you, what would you do? If you knew that your family would be safe, what would you do? And so that goes along with whatever your life path is. And then let's take a look. Oop. So we had a couple cards jump here. Shift the way to new potential and creator water. So this is saying that in order to move out of this, you have to be the one to shift. You have to shift your way into whatever this new potential is. Take a leadership role, take action, and shift into the life that you want. So this creator water, you're the creator of your own reality and of your own experience here. And water usually is also, like I said, over here, indicative of blessings from the divine. So you have the ability to co-create with the universe the experience on this planet, like this incarnation, that you want. So what experience are you going to work on manifesting during this eclipse period? So that is the message for Aries. And now we will move on to Leo. Alrighty, Leo. Let's see what messages want to come through for you. And again, we will start on the love and relationship line, since honestly, jobs and careers looking good. And I was saying this kind of as I was transitioning from general fire sign into Aries, but this eclipse right now, this total north node eclipse, and it can join with Chiron and Mercury. So this is really the push to start something new, like to start a new beginning and to leave these familiar places that you've outgrown. So if you've outgrown something, even if it's something that family says is important, now is the time to release that. So you're really moving out of these, I'll call it, you're comfortably uncomfortable, like those types of situations. So, all right. Love and relationships. We have the Empress. We have Page of Cups in reverse. And we have the Knight of Swords in reverse. So love and relationship wise, we have the Empress, which is that female, creative, nurturing energy, that kind of divine energy. It also has to do with fertility. So there could be issues here of, is there a pregnancy? Are you birthing a new child? Or it's also, are you birthing something new within your relationship, like a new phase that's coming up for you? With our Page of Cups in reverse, that's a little bit of this like mature or immature, insecure type of energy. Like there's disappointments, and around the fact that like there are kind of like some secrets and some uncertainty. So that's leading you to a sense of disappointment. And it's also leading you into this sense of like a lack of focus and a lack of direction. Like you don't really know what way it's going. So, if you are in a situation, this could also be a matter of maybe an unplanned pregnancy for some people, that, this is kind of throwing a wrench into it, because you kind of have felt like, there's secrets around that, and there's a little bit of that like disappointed, immature energy, but then you have the Empress there and you don't really know what to do with it. But I feel like for a lot of you, this is more along the lines of this feminine energy that's coming in. So it's like there's this sense of this loving energy that's trying to come through, but there's just a lot of other disappointment that's being masked, and insecurities, and feeling like you don't really know what direction it's going. So it's kind of like there's the sense of love, but you don't really know what direction. So let's pull a timing card and see, when does some of this seem to be kind of clearing up in terms of finding some direction, and then we'll go from there. When you stop focusing on it. So it could be that you're just trying too hard to figure out what's happening, where are we going? Maybe you're spending endless hours talking about it. I'm going to pull a couple more cards because it's kind of a little hodgepodge of energy there. We have the High Priestess in reverse again, and we have Justice in reverse. So there's a sense of, it feels imbalanced right now. It feels like, it just feels like there's no direction, and it maybe if there's secrets, that one of the partners kind of has more of a sense of where it's going, and they're not sharing it, and that makes it feel like it's this imbalance, this lack of, this injustice that's coming through, lack of justice that's coming through, and like broken promises, and just this maybe unfair, like abuse of power type of thing. So some of the resolution will come when you stop focusing on it, and that could be the fact of, when you stop focusing on it, if you're the one that's putting in a lot of the effort and energy, and you're the one that's sitting in this Empress energy, even though things feel off, when you stop focusing on it, it could be that that's kind of the straw that breaks the camel's back, so to speak, and causes things to come up in, like come to a head. So let's pull some cards here for life path and mission and see what else wants to come through there. And then we'll pull some oracle cards. All right. We have the Chariot, which is also that fast-moving energy. We have Ace of Wands in reverse, and we have the Two of Swords. So interesting, we had two aces in reverse. This one's the Ace of Wands in reverse. So feeling like there have been some missed opportunities, and that's actually kind of the same here. So this is maybe some missed financial opportunities. This might be from, I'll call it like a spirit standpoint, like you've just kind of missed some of your timing, missed some of your calling. The Chariot, though, is that it is this sense of overcoming obstacles, and it's that fast-moving energy, and you're being driven to a decision point. So over here, so you can see the pictures a little better. You're being driven to a decision point, like it's kind of this major crossroads, and you feel like it's a difficult choice. And there's a little bit of denial, like, I don't want to have to make this choice in terms of your life path and mission. But you're in a position where, there is this energy of overcoming these obstacles. So you can do it if you decide to go down this path of making a tough choice. So again, this is also, with the eclipse being in like a North Node eclipse conjoined with Chiron and Mercury, it's pushing you to break out of these familiar places. So if you're sitting here feeling trapped and you're feeling like you've missed some of these opportunities, take a different path. If you want something different, you have to make different choices. And if you make those different choices, there's going to be an opportunity to do that quickly coming up soon here. And if you take that other road, the road less traveled, you're going to be able to move into a higher level of energy. In terms of with the future energy here, this Ace of Pentacles in reverse, this is if you don't do anything different. So this is based on the energy today. If you have this kind of passive, whatever happens energy, then you're going to be led here to this Ace of Pentacles in reverse. If you make different choices, then the future energy will change. So the future energy in this part is based on your actions today. So if you take the other path, take the one that, that you haven't chosen, take the alternative, then you'll run into different energy, different outcomes. All right. But, and with this, it's kind of a matter of hold your vision. So if you're feeling trapped, that's usually a matter of you have You have one idea of where you want to be, but your current reality or the pressures coming up against you are putting you in a different position. And that's where some of this healing of generational patterns comes in. It's taking that leadership role, taking that action to move yourself into what it feels like better alignment for you. Not what feels like better alignment for everyone around you, but what feels like better alignment for you. So hold that vision and take the path that will lead you to that vision. All right. All right, Leo, Pleiades, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. So maybe you could be feeling that calling to help other people. A lot of people, frankly, that watch tarot readings are people that are light workers, they're healers, they're shamans, they're people who are trying to make some sort of spiritual connection or spiritual impact with other people. So that's part of your mission here, is to be able to uplift other people. So you making this tough choice now and you taking this leadership role, this action role to break out of generational trauma or generational patterns could be the roadmap that somebody else needs to be able to get themselves out of a bad situation. So you getting yourself out of an unfulfilling or bad or, energy suck of a situation can be instrumental to somebody else being able to see you do that and say, hey, if so-and-so can do that, I can do it too. And then what's your honest truth? So this is a lot of that North Node in Aries that's going to be going on until January is what is your truth? And standing in your truth, being unapologetically you, saying, you know what? I'm going to put on my oxygen mask first in the airplane, and then I'm going to help other people. So that is the message that is coming through for Leo. All right. And now let's take a look at Sagittarius. So what energy wants to come through for Sagittarius during this eclipse? And I was starting to say this at the end of the general fire sign reading, but I was already kind of starting into Aries. So I'll repeat it here. This is a total North Node solar eclipse that's conjoined with Chiron and Mercury. So this is really pushing for this, to start down your path with new beginnings and kind of to leave your familiar situations that you've outgrown. So if you've been sitting in a situation that's familiar to you, like you've just been kind of treading water, feeling trapped in the same situation, this is that time that you're being pushed to break out of it. If you've outgrown the situation, there's no more lessons to be learned. It's draining on you and there's really nothing new. That's what you're being pushed to take a look at. In fact, so one of the things, this was a mantra that I had come up with for myself as well, but it's, I will only allow myself to be in situations that feed my soul or facilitate my growth. So if you feel trapped in a situation, it's not feeding your soul, so it's not lighting you up, making you happy, making you warm and fuzzy. If it's not feeding your soul and it's not helping you grow, then why are you in that situation? So growth can be uncomfortable. So don't get me wrong. That's not to say, I'm never going to allow myself to be in uncomfortable situations. But for these, when it's talking about with this eclipse, the familiar places that you've outgrown, if you're in a situation where there's nothing left to learn, there's no more lessons because there just aren't, there's no growth that's going to happen, then what are you getting out of that situation? Why are you staying in that situation? All right, so love and relationships. This is for Sagittarius. We have our Wheel of Fortune card. We have our Ten of Swords. And we have our King of Wands in reverse. So this situation is destined and fated, and you have this sense of being absolutely stabbed in the back, exhausted, defeated, one sword. And with this one, thank you, artists, for not stabbing a dog in the back. But in the traditional deck, it is literally all of these swords coming down into the back of the person that's laying there dying. And so that is that card. The Ten of Swords is about just exhaustion, betrayal, defeat, like, the whole put a fork in it, you're done. So I just was able to quickly go to that. Here's the card as it is in the regular Rider-Waite deck. But like I said, thank you for not showing a dog being stabbed to death in this pile. Then we also have our King of Wands in reverse, which is this impulsive, kind of bitter, almost like bullying type of energy. And, but with the Wheel of Fortune, this is a destined and fated point that you need to be at in this relationship. So it had kind of been almost like emotionally cold or dead. I mean, not too high, not too low. It was just existing. So it could be that it was existing out of a state of convenience. And then with the High Priestess in reverse, with that being that sense of a lot of uncertainty right now, the feeling of, there's secrets and, that just kind of yucky feeling of what's going on. In order for you to move past that, it's almost like you've been so used to sitting in this energy of, well, if it's not terrible, I guess I'll stay. But it's almost as if, because of the fact that you keep allowing it to get more and more unfulfilling without you leaving, it's like the universe is saying, alrighty then, this is what's coming in. If you're not going to take action to say, hey, I deserve to have positive levels of happiness, not just I deserve the absence of terrible feelings of negativity. But if you haven't been at a point in the past to say proactively that I deserve positive levels of the happiness, it's almost like the universe is saying, well, then maybe it needs to get a whole lot worse in order to push you into more of like this bitter energy that's going to force you to make a decision. But the thing is and that's a destined and fated sort of event. So this, you having the ability to stand up for yourself and advocate for yourself about what you want and how you want your relationship to go, and the type of happiness and the type of things that you want in that relationship, that is a destined and fated change. So that's like one of your major lessons to learn during this lifetime. So it's a matter of knowing that is one of your lessons. Are you going to let it get to a point of your Ten of Swords stabbed in the back, just totally defeated, and which will turn you into a bitter, cynical, almost like bully type of a person? Or are you going to proactively take some steps to leave the familiar situation that you've outgrown? And leaving it can mean having those tough, uncomfortable conversations to spur a new era in your relationship, like a new chapter in your relationship. Are you going to do that, or are you going to wait it out until it gets really bad? So that's kind of, I guess, part of the big picture message for you there, Sagittarius, is what are you going to do, to help bring that sense of joy and happiness into your life, advocating for yourself, knowing your self-worth. And some of this kind of ties back here with these generational patterns. And it could be that you're used to people in your family like, oh, we don't talk about that sort of thing. Like, you just sit quietly, smile and nod. We don't talk about that sort of thing. Or do you stand up for yourself? So let's take a look at life path and mission here. We have the Fool in reverse. We have the Knight of Wands in reverse. And we have the Page of Swords in reverse. All right, and I will hold these up one by one so you can see them because they're really cute. The Fool in reverse, and I love how the dog has his little, baggie on a stick over his shoulder here. So in terms of with your life path and mission, there is some resistance, like this sense of unreadiness, like you're not you're not ready to take that leap into that new phase in your life. The Knight of Wands in reverse energy has this sense of a little bit of like anger and recklessness to it. So in the upright, this is that sense of courage and fearlessness and adventure and or like confidence. And in the reverse, it's almost like the opposite side of those traits. Like, so it is that kind of recklessness and a little bit of that arrogance, like you're overly, like you're confident, but you're overly confident. And then we also have our Page of Swords energy, which is this sense of like, it has an element of being a little bit maybe cautious, but you're planning and you're curious about what the future could look like. So you're planning because you're not really ready to take that leap yet, but you're kind of balancing that with a little bit of a sense of recklessness. Like you're frustrated with the fact that you feel like you're stuck. And so that is starting to bring out some of this recklessness. Like, well, I just want to be on my path. Like I'm done worrying about the path. I just want to be on it. But this is something where, yes, you do need to take action to put yourself on the path that you want, but you need to make sure that you're not being reckless in how you do it. So having a little bit more planning and, there is this sense of fear of the unknown, but you can help overcome the fear of the unknown by implementing some planning, by thinking about it a little bit more. Then we also, the likely outcome that was coming up before was this Ace of Pentacles in reverse, which was that sense of, that you've missed some opportunities. Maybe you thought that your life was having an opportunity to go down one direction and, you missed that. Some of it is going to be a matter of if you can't break yourself out of feeling like you're stuck, then you will end up in that energy of feeling like you missed an opportunity. So remember with tarot, this energy here is based on an extension of the future, or an extension into the future of the energy that you're feeling right now. So left unchecked, this feeling of being trapped is going to lead you to feeling like you're missing these opportunities. And even with the Fool in reverse, your fear of the unknown is going to lead you to feeling like you've missed out on some opportunities because you didn't have the courage to take that leap of faith. So let's take a look at a couple of oracle cards and see how that plays in. It does say, so it's coming up here, luck is on your side. So don't worry so much about the unknown. Like the divine has your back. So yes, put some planning in place, but don't let yourself be so stuck in this planning. At work, we just call it analysis paralysis, where it's like you just keep churning the same information over and over again. You don't actually do anything with it. Don't let yourself get stuck in that. Know that luck is on your side, so go ahead and take that leadership role and step out. Council of Light, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. So this is that card to remind you, like I said, the divine has your back. So ask for help, ask for guidance, ask for your guides, for the angels, for the archangels to come in and help you. And ask for your ancestors to come in and help you because, being on the other side of things now, they know what these generational patterns are. And, some of it, if they weren't strong enough to break those patterns in their lifetime, they might be able to help provide you with some courage and some strength for you to break those generational patterns in your lifetime. The good kind. I'll pull another one here. Fill your cup with sacred giggles. So this is kind of that reminder of don't let yourself get so bogged down in, oh my gosh, I have to figure this out. Oh my gosh, I have to suffer through something in order to get my reward. So kind of that no pain, no gain. That's not what life is all about. Like, let yourself be happy. Let yourself bask in the moment. And, with this, the good kind. So make some changes. Take some risks, the good kind of risks. Like luck is on your side. So I hope that you found that message to be helpful, Sagittarius. And as always, take only what resonates and leave the rest behind. But I wish you a peaceful and joyful journey as we brave this eclipse season and head into the first half of April. So we'll see you next time.